Hi, Armoured Pants here, and I have another video for you in the German line. This is the Tier 10 Heavy the E100, which is a behemoth and a beast of a beautiful, brawling, battling heavy tank. As always, we will have a look at tech spec in blitzhanger.com. Now, this tank is in many ways the quintessential, the aspirational heavy tank. It demonstrates all of the key characteristics of heavy tanks. It is slow, well armoured, brilliant gun, does lots of damage, slow reload. So in many ways it exemplifies all of the aspects of heavy tanks that you've played up to now. It has a great 150mm gun. It is accurate and reliable. It does lots of damage. The AP rounds have massive pen, 258mm of pen, and the HE rounds have 85mm of pen, which will go through all light tanks and almost every medium tank, especially from the backs and the sides. So make sure you have HE loaded up. Now the muzzle velocity is relatively low, but using supercharge we get it up to almost 1000 meters per second. Now aiming is maiming, and it's very important with this tank because, as you can see, even using gun rammer, it is a almost 15 second, 14.67 second reload. So if you miss or do not pen, it can seem like a lifetime while your next round loads. And you'll actually see in this game I miss a shot in a brawl, and I experienced that myself when we look at the gameplay. Now, so that's the gun. Let's look at the armor, which is a thing of beauty on this tank. If you look at the top left hand corner, you will see the relative armor thickness, and just have a look at some of the figures as they pop up here, because this armor is amazing and this tank is a bounce monster. Removing the spaced armor, let's have a look at the core armor. Primary armor, as we can see, very good. When you add in the spaced armor, look at those figures in the top left. Look at how high those numbers go, and that's why this is a side scraping monster. It is a steel wall winner. You will start printing those medals with this tank. Now the turret can be vulnerable, but therefore if you angle it, you will see that it becomes less vulnerable. So make sure, especially when side scraping, that the turret is angled to make sure you get those bounces. And again, take note of that relative armor on the sides of the turret as you pop out. So keep that angled up. Do not keep it face onto the enemy, because it can be penned with big guns, especially with heat or premium rounds, into the front of the turret. But angle it slightly and it will bounce shots all day long. Now, we see the spaced armor is brilliant because it's protection from heat and HE. And heat is a premium round used by a lot of tanks in tier 10 and tier 9, so therefore offers a lot of protection. We see here this plate is vulnerable, especially as we saw there if you're coming over a hill, but generally this plate is vulnerable, the lower plate, so you need to protect that when possible. Looking at the external modules, we see the tracks are exposed at the bottom, so you will get tracked. Therefore I use 2 repair kits rather than the engine accelerator for this tank. It is generally though a front on bully. It is an in your face aggressive tank, and if you can protect that lower plate, you can do so with a lot of confidence. As I said, the lower plate is vulnerable, so do try to protect that either by angling or trying to keep some cover in front of that lower plate. In terms of tactics, it says front line. I mean, it is a good frontline tank, and essentially that's what it's built for. I mean, it is slow, it's 30 kilometers an hour, so you're not going anywhere fast, so therefore what else can you do but take the fight to the enemy? Long range sniping, it's okay. It's also a good brawler because of that gun and because of this armor, especially if you can protect the back of the tank, as you will see I do in the gameplay we're going to look at. So there we have it. Big, slow moving, well armored beast that is just an amazing tank to play, quintessential heavy. Now we're going to have a look at some gameplay. There's actually a double mastery in here. There's a mastery for me and for the M60. So let's have a look. So This is a map, Himmelsdorf, which actually suits this tank quite well, because the left-hand channel that the heavies will go down here actually has a lot of cover. The rubble piles actually offer a lot of cover protecting that lower plate, and it also offers a lot of cover for side scraping, etc. Now here I take a lottery shot. I often do this just on spec at the start of a game. I will just fire a HE round. Like the lottery, you don't always get a winner, but if you connect, the HE round can do splash damage, and it can do anything from 200 to 300 damage. You may even kill a crew member or the commander. So worth a shot, because I know that I don't have any other targets, so I have plenty of time to reload. Now, I didn't load up the HE here in case the leopard moved, so that I could take another target. Normally you would fire HE at the leopard. I go back into cover while I reload. As you can see, the reload is slow, as we discussed during the technical specifications. Now I decide to move out to this patch of rubble here in front, so that I can side scrape a bit, and so that I can protect the lower plate. Fire in. Again, we see a perfect example of what we were talking about here, about the turret being vulnerable. If you turn the turret to the side, you can see how vulnerable it is. And look at this. This is a perfect example. Watch this. Watch. No shot. And then when he moves, and let's look at that again in slow motion. No shot, and then he just moves the turret slightly, and then he's vulnerable and gets cleared. If he had kept moving front on, or with the 45-degree angle onto me, I wouldn't have been able to pen him. As soon as he goes to a 90-degree angle, then I'm able to pen. I use HE round here because I don't want to have any doubts whatsoever. I want to clear him. Now I'm going to try to capture. I'm going front on to these enemies here, but the T-62A comes from behind, and you'll see here I just bounce a shot from here. He comes up behind, takes us by surprise, but I get the bounce. So you can see again how good the armor is in this tank. Even at the rear, I was able to bounce that shot. Come out, put one into him, a lot of damage into him. Now we have the M60 who's with me, and the M60 is going to actually clear him. Now I want to draw your attention to something I do here. I back out to take a shot onto him, and yet I don't have to, because the M60 takes it. Why? Isn't that a noob mistake? No, because I knew these tanks were going to be pushing onto us, and I wanted to be facing them. They have bigger guns, are a much bigger threat. Now look at my position. We see the results of backing out onto the T-62. I'm actually in a very strong position against these two big guns that are coming onto me. Fluff this shot here. This is what I was talking about when we spoke about the tech spec. Missing that shot, it now seems like a very long time. I have to wait to get the kill shot on this guy. Waiting. This time I make no mistake. Use the heat round. Put it straight through that vulnerable part, just at the lower part of the turret. Now, I often in the tech spec talk about coming over hills, going down hills. If you think that's odd, this is why. Look at the angles of that tank and the shots that were presented as it came over the hill. The IS-7 is usually a very strong tank front on, but you saw when he was coming over that hill, he presented several shot specs for me. Now, as I said, it was a double mastery game, right? The M60 did more damage than me, but actually did less XP, and as we said, XP is always what delivers the mastery badges. Now, I did about 3.8k damage in that, which for this tank is not that much. And I've actually done 5.5k of damage and more, and only gotten a first class, so why did the mastery badge come in this one? Well, it's to do with the base capturing, of course, but also to do with all the shots that were bounced and the other activities taken during the game. So base capture, bouncing shots, etc. Delivers the base XP, so it's not always about the damage. And actually, this is a key point that we should always take from these games, and I keep saying it, that it's not just about damage or kills. Now let's have a look at a recap. This is an awesome heavy tank, and it's just great to play if you love heavies. As I said before, maybe the ultimate, the aspirational heavy for heavy tank players. It is slow, but it can handle itself, and it is a good brawler, as we saw in the gameplay. And it is a good brawler because of that armor and that gun. The armor really is a thing of beauty. It is a bounce monster. You saw there even getting the bounce on the rear of the tank as I was moving from the T62. It's an awesome gun, it's reliable, the alpha is beautiful, the pen is amazing, it's just a lovely gun, and its only bad thing of course is the reload, but its real DPM is super. That is, when you aim this gun correctly, take your time, it will pen almost every time and deliver. So therefore its real versus its theoretical DPM is actually quite good, and we discussed what the differences are in that before. It is a side scraping beast at that. Once you angle it up, and that spaced armor just delivers those these relative armor numbers of like 1,000 millimeters on the sides. It's just amazing. If you haven't already watched the heavy tank guide I've done, please do, because there's simple tutorials on side scrape and angling in it, and very good information on what the role of a heavy tank is. And in many ways this is the ultimate heavy tank, as we said before, and it should be the aspiration of any heavy tank player to get this. But of course, take your time, because the journey there is tough, and when you're up at tier 10, it is quite an unforgiving tier. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers, Mush. And I guess that is Armoured Pants out. Take care, guys.